I met with Victor, and he said, here's the script, and he said, just go home and read it. So I did, and I loved it. I was like riveted by it. I was like, oh my God, this is a really good monster movie. It's not like a psychological thriller. It's not, you know, a teen slasher movie. It's a monster movie, and it's serious.
I was going to hire Brad to do some storyboarding, basically. Well, Brad came in the first day, and he had 3 or 4 pictures of the creature based on the script. And they were so fantastic. In fact, the first one we saw was just so awesome that we immediately emailed it to Frances, who emailed us back and said, oh my God, this is great.
That was a part of the script at the cat lady's house, and she says that one line, that ain't my scarecrow. And I thought that was really gothic, this image of this guy standing in front of this old, rotted scarecrow. That was just like the essence of how dark and ragged this character was, that he would blend into the scarecrow. I grew up in Nebraska, and, you know, with rolling cornfields in the middle of nowhere, and like, you know, picket fences and barbed wire and old trees and all that kind of stuff, just like barren fields and just old houses and things that you just see driving around Nebraska. And there's a certain eeriness to all of that.
What if a man who wasn't a man could dress in such a way that you would think he was until he got right up close to you and you saw that he was not a man at all?
Yeah, the creeper himself, the way he was described in the script, where he at first appeared like an old man in ragged clothing, and on closer inspection you find out that there's something wrong with him. He looked like an old man at first, but there was like this eeriness about his face where you look like it's not quite right. And then, of course, the longer you looked, the more you realize there's something really different and strange and wrong with what this individual is. This is like the gothic character that we were always like afraid of when we were kids. This was like the monster from the Midwest that hasn't ever really been chronicled before. Victor was so clever in revealing more and more of the creature as you go through the film. It's not just that guy in an old coat. He changes and he morphs, and there's always something else going on with the creature than you know. He flies. He must be a vampire. He's got wings. And then you see him with his clothes off. He's got a reptile's body. He's got these huge leathery wings. He's like a gargoyle. And we're like, no, okay, there's got to be one more step beyond that where you don't know what he is. That was like, I think, the biggest treat, to create a movie monster that you didn't recognize from somewhere else. That was like, oh, that's like weird and new, you know. That's so wonderful for a horror movie fan to see that and go, wow, something fresh. Somebody put the effort into doing something new and fresh. Giving less information about the creeper than just like saying, here's exactly what he is, and, you know, exactly what he's gonna do and how he works and all the rules about it. Leaving him vague and leaving him mysterious, and you only get little suggestions of what he is or what he isn't, and that makes it all the more scary because you don't know what he's going to do. You don't know how to stop him. You don't know why he's coming after you. You don't know what he wants. You know, it's just this complete, horrible, dark force you know nothing about. In the script, he's got a workman's table in there with stuff on it, and when we were talking about what the set was going to look like, Victor was getting into, like, the creeper is an artist. And originally we had like this drawing of this big wood table, and I had him look like he had carved up the legs and the front half of the table, and the rest of it was still just wood planks. And on the top of the table he had carved in this demonic thing, which at first in the film you'd go, wow, that's like, you know, some satanic symbol. Because at first, at this point in the movie, you just think he's a serial killer or something. He's, you know, dumping bodies down this hole behind the church. He's a serial killer. And look, he's carved like some kind of Satan thing into this table, you know. He's a devil-worshipping maniac. But then by the end of the movie, if you remember the table, you're gonna go, hey, that's not the devil he's carved into the table, that's a self-portrait. So this is his artist's self-portrait of himself, you know, in the table. It's got his face open. It's a stylized thing, but it's all there if you look at it really fast. Ever since I was a little kid, I was drawing monsters. I was like, the first things I ever drew were like monsters. And to be able to have like drawn a monster and to have somebody come in and say, oh yeah, this is nice, we're going to now make it into a real thing, and then step by step see like the costume people come in and say, yeah, this is the clothes it's going to wear, and these are the boots and the pants and the shirt and all that kind of stuff. And then the makeup effects guys come in and say, this is how we're going to sculpt it, and this is what the back of the head's going to look like. And then see the actor come in, and this is how it's all going to fit on him, and this is the way it's going to walk, and this is the way it's going to have an attitude. And then to see it turn into this living, breathing creature, I mean, it's just amazing. It's just awesome. I mean, it's like, the pinnacle of any horror movie fan is to see a monster that you drew turn into a living, breathing thing. And I'd go and I'd talk to Breck in between takes sometimes, and he'd be in this huge, great, gothic monster makeup. And a little kid inside me would be jumping up and down going, it's the monster, it's the monster, and all excited. And I'm trying to act cool and around him, and he's like, having all this patience with me, yeah, I'm the monster, and he's telling me about other projects he's working on, and, and it was like, his voice coming out of this really scary, horrific, gothic monster was just great. I mean, it was just surreal. It was wonderful. There's nothing else like it. If you have a chance to do it, you should try it.